I've got 80 kids already.
The kids actually did a lot of the groundwork because they knew how to set up the brackets, they knew how to organize it. And that's what we did. We set up brackets. The kids played in a more organized fashion. They didn't just come in and play. It was the idea of playing as a sport.
And you look around that classroom and you see these people that you would not expect to be together, but they're drawn to gaming. And the funny thing is, they're not all gamers.
We have a tournament organizer, which is a young lady. She doesn't actually play any of the sports, but she comes in and she helps organize any of our tournaments. She's with our players, and she didn't realize that there was a career that she can have in sports that didn't involve her playing.
So we have artists, musicians, DJs, techies. They're all there because they all want to be involved in the events.
So the gaming part is there. But they realize all of the different aspects of the game that go with it.
And we found out that over 150 colleges and universities were offering scholarships, and some of these were really, really good schools. Esports is going to break down walls. Esports doesn't care if you're a jock, doesn't care if you're the book kid studying kid, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're what, doesn't care about any of that stuff. We draw everyone. Simple. It's revolutionized the school. We started the club and we started incorporating our classroom, and immediately, it's a small school, around 1,400. And our first meeting had about 120 students show up, and the energy in the room, it was tingling. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
So the esports environment at our school is fantastic. On our first day, our initial meeting, we had 109 students show up.
I went from having a hard time recruiting 25, 30 kids a year. I've got 80 kids lined up next year already.
The kids actually did a lot of the groundwork because they knew how to set up the brackets, they knew how to organize it, and that's what we did. We set up brackets. The kids played in a more organized fashion. They didn't just come in and play. It was the idea of playing as a sport.
And you look around that classroom and you see these people that you would not expect to be together, but they're drawn to gaming. And the funny thing is, they're not all gamers.
We have a tournament organizer, which is a young lady. She doesn't actually play any of the sports, but she comes in and she helps organize any of our tournaments. She's with our players, and she didn't realize that there was a career that she can have in sports that didn't involve her playing.
So we have artists, musicians, DJs, techies. They're all there because they all want to be involved in the events.
So the gaming part is there, but they realize all of the different aspects of the game that go with it.
And we found out that over 150 colleges and universities were offering scholarships, and some of these were really, really good schools. Esports is going to break down walls. Esports doesn't care if you're a jock, doesn't care if you're the book kid studying kid, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're what, doesn't care about any of that stuff. We draw everyone. Simple. It's revolutionized the school. We started the club and we started incorporating our classroom, and immediately, it's a small school, around 1,400. And our first meeting had about 120 students show up, and the energy in the room, it was just, I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
So the esports environment at our school is fantastic. On our first day, our initial meeting, we had 109 students show up.
I went from having a hard time recruiting 25, 30 kids a year. I've got 80 kids lined up next year already.
The kids actually did a lot of the groundwork because they knew how to set up the brackets, they knew how to organize it, and that's what we did. We set up brackets. The kids played in a more organized fashion. They didn't just come in and play. It was the idea of playing as a sport.
And you look around that classroom and you see these people that you would not expect to be together, but they're drawn to gaming. And the funny thing is, they're not gamers.
We have a tournament organizer, which is a young lady. She doesn't actually play any of the sports, but she comes in and she helps organize any of our tournaments. She's with our players, and she didn't realize that there was a career that she can have in sports that didn't involve her playing.
So we have artists, musicians, DJs, techies. They're all there because they all want to be involved in the event.
So the gaming part is there, but they realize all of the different aspects of the game that go with it.
And we found out that over 150 colleges and universities were offering scholarships, and some of these were really, really good schools. Esports is going to break down walls. Esports doesn't care if you're a jock, doesn't care if you're the book kid, studying kid, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're what, doesn't care about any of that stuff. We draw everyone.
Ms. Rosa Greenaway, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sport, and Creative Industries. Mr. Larry Sosha, Public Affairs Officer at the United States Embassy in Bridgetown. Representatives from the Ministry of Education in Antigua. Ms. Rillis Mannett, Director of the National Public Library. Mr. Elijah James, General Manager and Mentor for Antigua and Barbuda Sports Club. Members of the media, especially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Sabrina Foster. I'm the Public Engagement Assistant at U.S. Embassy in Barbados, and I am very pleased to welcome you all to the official launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Esports Club. I hope we will agree that protocol has been established and that you will assist me in reducing some of the formality in tonight's celebration. I'll serve as your master of ceremonies for the evening. We are so thrilled to have you all here to officially launch this new club in Antigua and Barbuda. It is the first U.S. government-sponsored esports club in the Eastern Caribbean, and we would like to thank the government of Antigua through the Ministry of Education, as well as the American Corner on this very important educational initiative. We are very grateful for your continued support. Thank you. Our first speaker this evening is Mr. Elijah James. Elijah is founder of the local app and the Business Circle. He's also a Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative alumnus who is not only passionate about youth empowerment, but he also believes that education and entrepreneurship are the key to sustainable development in the Caribbean. Elijah is a mentor and business coach, and he has also provided training over the past several years on entrepreneurship and leadership. Elijah, we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to once again welcome, just like Sabrina said, welcome to the launch of the Antigua and Barbuda Esports Club. This is super exciting. I can't say enough. I am tingling where I am right here, right now. A big shout out to the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown, the American Spaces, and all the other partners that are coming together to make the Esports Club possible right here in Antigua and Barbuda. Just a quick summary of what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be talking about the Esports Club, what is going to be happening for the students who are going to be availing themselves of this opportunity. And we're also going to be talking about the the opportunities that esports gaming will provide for young people in helping them to develop both personally and professionally. The objective of the club itself is for us to educate, engage, and empower our young people here in Antigua and Barbuda to prepare them to be the best possible citizens they can be within our society. So with that, I want to welcome each one of you again. I will turn the floor back over to Sabrina, and I look forward to engaging and wonderful launch this afternoon.
Thank you, Elijah. Our next and final speaker for the evening is Mr. Larry Socha. And Larry is currently the Public Affairs Officer at U.S. Embassy Bridgetown, and he is responsible for media and cultural engagement of 7 Eastern Caribbean countries and the OECS. He has previously served as Special Assistant to the Undersecretary for Political Affairs in Washington, and some of his overseas tours include Nigeria, Venezuela, and Ukraine. So Larry, we are listening to you.
Thanks so much, Sabrina. It's a real pleasure to be with all of you, and I'm just kind of clicking around and looking at all the names. Some of them are familiar on here, like Miss Mannix, who manages the American Corner at the library. So happy to see her name, and I'm so glad that P.S. Greenaway is with us as well. P.S. Thank you and the whole government of Antigua and Barbuda for your support, not only of this esports club that we're kicking off tonight, but really for all of the partnerships that we have across our exchanges. Elijah is an alumnus of our exchange program, our Young Leaders of the Americas initiative from 2017. Our American Corner is there at the public library, and that would not exist without the support of the Ministry of Education, Sports, and Creative Industries. So thank you, P.S. Greenaway and Minister Matthew and the Honorable Prime Minister for everything that we do together with Antigua, Barbuda, and the United States. I was saying earlier this week that really there's no better ministry to be a partner with us than the Ministry of Education, Sports, and Creative Industries, because I feel like esports is all 3 of those things. It's about educating young people and engaging them. It's about sports and competition and fair play. And it's about the creative industry of esports, which is a $1 billion industry today. So it's kind of the perfect match with the ministry and with what we're doing through this club. I do again want to thank the American Corner, which is really our extension of the embassy in Antigua and Barbuda. If you haven't been, you should be one of the thousands of people who pass through that institution every year. Please go out there and safely, of course, in these COVID times, masked up and hopefully vaccinated, visit Miss Mannix and her team there at the American Corner. They really do amazing things and are a real resource for us. I want to thank 2 other partners who have come into play here. I see Kevin Brown from NASEF who's with us tonight. You got to do this tonight. If you go to nasef.org, I didn't do this until 5 minutes before I joined this evening. But if you go to About, or maybe it's the next tab over, and there's a map of locations where esports clubs are all around the world. And of course, there's a bunch of red spots all over the United States, and that's the largest concentration. But there is a bright red dot over Antigua and Barbuda that shows that now we are part of this esports community. And it's just really exciting to see that. So yes, give yourselves a round of applause for helping to make that happen and participating in this club and becoming part of that network. This would not be possible either with the help of Island Academy International School, which will host our STEAM lab. So thank you to Island Academy for making this possible. And again, to 2 people who have already spoken, Elijah, who I mentioned, is a young leader of the Americas and alumnus of that program. For all of you who might be a little older than the target audience for esports, the Young Leaders of the Americas initiative actually is open for applications right now. So if you're 18 to 35 and you're an entrepreneur, make sure you get with Elijah a little later to talk about his experience and how you might participate in one of the exchanges in the United States. Elijah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I feel like you're kind of approaching Ben Franklin's status in Antigua. Franklin was like a musician and a mentor and a diplomat and an author and a publisher, like all these different jobs. And I feel like, Elijah, you keep popping up in all these different roles. And when we were looking for someone to support our club, you were there. So thank you so much for that. And Sabrina Foster, our MC tonight. This would not have happened unless Sabrina walked into my office and said, "Hey, I saw this note from Washington, and I think it could really benefit us down here in the Eastern Caribbean." She followed up with Washington, with NASEF and the curriculum that they have. She saw this as a thing that could draw young people together. And so I want to thank Sabrina for her initiative and really championing what we have here tonight. My thank yous, and I feel like I've already used up the 2 minutes of my time, but I really want to say how excited I am for this club, because it's going to teach all of you life skills. Those of you who are going to get together with this club on Wednesdays and Saturdays, that life skills, and life skills can be broken down as leadership, interpersonal communication for I, financial literacy for F, and entrepreneurship for E. That this is a time where you as young people can come together, and yeah, sure, you're going to exchange words, and maybe that play didn't go as well, or maybe you didn't finish that level like you wanted to, but it's about people coming together and solving problems as a group. And you're doing that in a small way every Wednesday and Saturday. But I think back to my ambassador, Linda Tagliatella, who sends her regards and her regrets that she can't be here this evening. But she was just in Antigua last Thursday to donate 2 hospitals, field medical facilities that can be moved anywhere throughout Antigua and Barbuda, to donate $1.3 million worth of these supplies and these resources so that Antigua and Barbuda is ready for the next hurricane or the pandemic or any other challenge that's going to come its way. And that's what we as adults do when it comes to challenges that we have in common. And there's no better way to start working on that kind of cooperation than as teenagers in a fun environment like esports, where you too can solve problems together, where you can develop new strategies to conquer a challenge that's in your way. So your life skills that you'll learn through this club, leadership, interpersonal communication, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship, I think are incredibly important. And we're so happy that with the leadership of the ministry, the American Corner, and alumnus of our exchange programs like Elijah James, the different schools and other institutions coming together to support this program, I'm really excited for an amazing event to come up here. We're here to support you at the U.S. Embassy. We've poured a little over $25,000 US into the establishment of this club. These consoles and controllers and everything else, they're not cheap, and shipping them down to Antigua isn't cheap either. So whether it's equipment or the personnel or the weekly costs of making this happen, we've made an investment in this club and made an investment in you. So we are here to support you for the long haul and for us to make good on that investment. So just as I said, as the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative Exchange is currently open for applications, and soon our Youth Ambassadors program will be open, please talk to us here at the embassy. Keep in touch with us. Say, Elijah, who can I talk to at the embassy about X? Whatever you need. We want to keep those lines of communication open. With you as students and the parents who are on today and the other guardians and teachers, let's keep this conversation going. So thanks for joining tonight. Congratulations on all of you who will be participating in this esports club. Really appreciate having you here and look forward to what we'll do together.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Larry. And that, the proceedings was short and sweet. We want to thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin Brown. We look forward to engaging with you and your organization when the club commences activities. And we really look forward to the exciting things that this club and its students will accomplish in Antigua and Barbuda and also in the region. Parents and we have
Miss Mannix on the.
Okay. Sorry, Miss Mannix, Library Director. I'd like to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. It is such a pleasure to be a part of this awesome launch. I mean, we are on the threshold of greatness. we are living now in the 21st century, and we are seeing so many new aspects of technology, and these things are being engineered before our very eyes every day. And these students can use science and math and engineering and art and effectively put programs together and produce products and give optimum service to the world. And it is just awesome. So as we get involved with STEAM, and STEAM provides devices, and STEAM provides mobile devices to encourage hands-on interaction and promotes robotic programs, among many other things. I see STEAM, yes, as taking STEM to the next level. It allows students to connect and bring their learning together, the art, the practices, the designs, let them use their innovative skills and remove all the limitations. So I just want to thank Larry and Sabrina and the ambassador, Mr. Teller, and I want to thank the Ministry of Education and the Minister of Education, Elijah, everyone who is involved in this awesome launch. This is a program that I know is going to take us places, is going to catapult us into another arena. We are just going out there, and I just want to thank all of you. Also, Island Academy, for coming together with us in this initiative. We are going to make this awesome. We are on the threshold of greatness. I just want to say thanks to all of you.
Thank you to Ms. Magnets, and thanks to the staff at the American Corner and the library as well. And so as we close, we just...
Sabrina?
Hi, yes, please.
Hi, P.S. Greenaway.
Hi, P.S.
Yeah, I know earlier Larry had asked me if I was going to say anything, but I think I should. The minister didn't ask me to speak on his behalf, but I am going to speak on my own behalf.
Sure, no problem. Please.
Yeah. I would just like to say thank you on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries. I want to say thank you to the American Embassy for partnering with the library, the public library, over the number of years. I know it has been some time now. So I am most grateful for all the programs and initiatives that the embassy would have worked along with the American Corner, which is situated at the public library. And more so at this point, I want to say thank you to Elijah for this eSport initiative that he has led out on. And I wish him all the best with all his plans, and that, it would be a success. So I just want to express our gratitude to you and the U.S. Embassy. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Permanent Secretary Greenaway. Thanks for your support, your and the ministry's support of the initiative. So parents and students, we invite you please to remain online at the end of this session so that you can engage with Elijah and ask any questions that you may have regarding the activities of the club, which is due to start next week. And everyone else, have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Larry. Everyone. So we are officially launched. Antigua and Barbuda is the first esports club within the Eastern Caribbean, and we are graciously being supported by the U.S. Embassy of Bridgetown. And so I want to open the floor if there are any questions from anyone. NASEF, the American Statistic Federation, that's on the call as well with us. They're a huge partner that's going to be helping in terms of rolling out the STEAM curriculum that we're going to be making available to young people so that they can engage and learn through esports. So let us know if you have any questions, any of the students, anyone on the call, and we'll be more than happy to answer questions. Feel free to raise your hand or put your question in the chat. So I have a question from Emery. So in terms of the days for training, we have currently now set out for training to be done on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So currently we're going to be meeting next week for first orientation. So we'll get a chance to meet all the students who would have expressed interest in the club itself. And there are going to be several roles that we're going to be selecting within the club itself, such as the president of the club, the vice president, treasurer. Persons are going to be able to fill roles. This is going to be a virtual meeting online. So the Zoom meeting link will be sent out to everyone who is registered so they can participate within the session itself. And then through that, we will have a conversation about filling those particular roles. And those lucky first pioneers will basically be able to set the trend of what esports gaming will look like in Antigua and Barbuda for the rest of the students across the educational system. And there's a question from Jonathan. If you can't come on Saturdays, so Jonathan, if you're not able to come on one of the days sessions itself, we will have some recordings for some of the sessions, and then you'll be able to have access to that as well. I see Kevin has a question. Are there any game titles that we'll be playing? Will you be planning on competing next year, or will you start more casually? So we are starting off with a few game titles, but which include things such as Racers, a few of the other popular titles that a lot of kids are playing, like Fortnite. But what we're going to be doing, we're going to start off casually, and then hopefully, depending on how competitive our students are, then we're going to probably see if we can get on board into competition, planning competition next year. But we're definitely going to be planning some local tournaments here, and then seeing how we can also scale into regional and even international as well. Questions from the floor. One of the things I want to reiterate very importantly about the whole esports club initiative, because I know some parents once, when I had contacted them about the students when they signed up, and they would have expressed the concern about whether or not it's going to necessarily just be about them having gaming fun alone, or are they actually going to be learning stuff. One of the things that I think Larry would have passing on life skills. We recognized after a survey back in around 2015 or so of the secondary school students when they were deciding on fifth form what they're going to do with their careers after high school. And many of them really weren't quite clear on what opportunities were available to them. They didn't necessarily see STEAM or STEM careers as a path. And so we decided that it was super important for us to be able to pass on to many of the students across Antigua and Barbuda to help prepare them for society. And so life skills will include the acronyms, as Larry mentioned. We're going to be teaching you about leadership, and this is going to come into play when you take on these respective roles within the interpersonal communications. So you'll be able to understand how to work as a team. You'll be able to communicate with persons, for example, who you may not even be familiar with outside of the club itself as well. We'll be teaching about financial literacy. How does the money system work? What are the different financial tools or services that you can access? And something that's very dear to me is entrepreneurship. And so one of the things that we have known or recognized across the system for a while is that a lot of students are kind of led along the path where I go to school, get an education, and then go find a job. But the reality is that we need someone to actually create these jobs for people to be able to work. And so there's a huge opportunity within entrepreneurship where you can become your own boss. You can help to find solutions to many of the problems, and you can also, add value to our society. And so we want to be able to teach that to young people as well. So they'll not only develop personally in terms of their gaming skills, hand-eye coordination, some of the techniques that are actually critical thinking that's used in gameplay can be applied to some of the many subject areas that covers in STEAM, the science, the technology, the engineering, the arts. Somebody has to design, somebody has to do storytelling, the mathematics, being able to complete a puzzle through a game. All of those are all factors that the young people can benefit from by being a part of the esports club. So I just wanted to make sure I stress that for many of the students and the parents that are on the call. It's not just about gaming fun. That's just a plus. We're actually going to be working on helping to develop them personally and also professionally. I see some questions on chat in the group. Persons have next gen games like Forza Horizon 5. It's a great question, Nathan. So again, the first, the pilot, because this is the pilot, we are going to have the students are going to kind of set the tone with a little guidance, of course, of what the esports club is going to look like for them. Most importantly than anything, we want to ensure that the club is satisfying or basically achieving its goal of addressing, the training and the skills that you guys need. So if we look at the different various games that we need to look at, once we speak with everyone and we go through that session for the meetings that we're going to have leading into next year, then we can decide on what other games we can offer. I see Amani has been down to the path of learning and competitive gaming. Awesome. Jean-Claude, I suggest Apex Legends as a played game. How does the scholarship system work? Okay, so that's a great question as well. So Jean-Claude, Larry would have mentioned to you, for example, the opportunities that the U.S. Embassy Bridgetowns offer, and I don't think he gave it enough justice. The U.S. Embassy Bridgetown offers a wealth of opportunities to us here within Antigua and Barbuda and the OECS region in which it serves. Whether it be scholarships in terms of education, for example, coming up this weekend, Sabrina could tell you that there's the Education USA debut that's happening, where you can actually get a chance to speak to various organizations in the U.S. about studying and what is available to you. There's even a virtual scavenger hunt that's happening on Saturday. So you should definitely go and check out the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown on Facebook. And basically, through the program itself, we will see we want to basically bring in a lot of the different professionals and the different persons who work in the space itself to be able to interact with you, share with you what opportunities are available for you, whether it be in scholarships or even career paths. And so those will all be presented on the table for you. But the U.S. Embassy, if you go to the website, it's bbembassy.gov, I think, Sabrina. My memory might be less, but I'll type it in the chat. But just Google U.S. Embassy Bridgetown, and the link will come up, and you will go into the Education and Cultural Affairs section, and you'll see a host of opportunities. You can be a youth ambassador. If you're an entrepreneur, you can engage in the YLI program. Even if you're an older professional, you can. For persons who are over 35, there are exchange programs such as the Humphreys and a wealth of Fulbright scholarships as well that are available for us here in Antigua and Barbuda. These opportunities to you so that you can help to develop yourself again personally and professionally. All right. I see Kevin has another point. NASA plays a lot of Overwatch and Valorant. This is just some of the conversations about games that will be in competition. Johnny asks, is it going to be only RPG shooter games, or are there going to be other games? There are going to be other games as well. Johnny, one of the things that we are trying to do is, again, when everybody was signing up, we would have asked all the different students what kind of consoles and what platforms that they're playing across. So we recognize that there's some persons who are mobile gamers, there's some people who like consoles, and there's some people who like PC. So the club itself will cater to, and of course you're going to have these different niches about who likes what kind of play. And if we can help bring those persons together through the club, then great. So you basically be able to find your niche and find other players who like playing on the same consoles or platforms or cross-platform games for you to be able to have someone to enjoy and play with. Some more questions in the chat. Said we'll decide upon floor. Will the esports provide gaming supplies? Right. And so that's a great question, Nathan. Larry would have pointed out that the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown would have made quite a sizable investment with the support, of course, from the government to be able to spend about $25,000 invested into this program to help as many young people as possible get exposed to the opportunities and training that esports can provide for them. So part of that investment includes equipment. Some of them actually I looked at some of them today from the US, from the American corner. So there are some Nintendo Switches that are here, controllers, games, and a lot of these will be used through competition as well. There are some Xbox and PlayStations coming as well. And we have PCs on island already. And again, your mobile is yours. But yes, equipment will be provided so that we can enjoy gameplay. And of course, our friends at the Island Academy, I can't stress a big enough thank you. With the support of Silicon Dadley, our local technology association, we will be working on setting up a STEAM lab center, so that basically, in addition to the fun that we can have with esports and learning that's going to happen, you will also be exposed to other STEAM runs like robotics and even cybersecurity training as well. We want to teach you how to be a better DJ shoutcaster, that you can, show off your skills during esports tournaments. We'll teach you how to code, build a website, build mobile applications. So all of these are things that are going to become available to you within that whole STEAM ecosystem. So our friends at Island Academy, the American Corner, Silicon Valley, Select Start Gaming, they're all going to be able to bring all of that kind of opportunity to the table in terms of equipment, and so that the young people can enjoy the learning and the gaming experience. All right, going down. So Sabrina shared a link for the Education USA and the U.S. Embassy website, bb.usembassy.com. Thank you for that, Sabrina. Kevin has asked a question or make the point. NASEF allows for any genre that is important to the club and its members. And so he talked about some of the games that are going to be there. I see Adam in the room. Hey, Adam, how you doing? Adam is one of the mentors that's going to be at the Island Academy for Cybersecurity. So if you're interested in signing up for the STEAM learning program there as well, go over to silicondadley.com and sign up for any one of the programs that you may be interested as well. And I love the energy, Jean-Claude. Yes, this is definitely going to be a fun year. Indeed, agreed. See Super Smash. Yep, I saw a bunch of controllers that we got, including the connectors for the N64 for playing Super Smash Brothers. So for those of you who are into that, we got it coming. Will it be as a physical meeting anytime soon? So, Anne-Marie, that's a good question. You would have heard the government announce today its change in its policy for students at educational institutions. This is one of the things that where it was kind of limiting plans for in-person engagements at first. So given the fact that we've seen some of that relaxation, of course, keeping in mind with all the protocols that still need to be put in place, the location at Island Academy and also the location at American Corner, which is our headquarters, will always be available for the esports club to utilize for any activities that we may have, keeping in mind that we're going to be guided by the protocols as the government have them established. But we will basically be starting off meeting virtually for now until when the epidemical situation improves better, and then we can take things to the next level. Consoles, can you fix consoles? So Jean-Claude is asking consoles. Jean-Claude, that will be with our friends at Select Start Gaming, Alex. So Select Start Gaming, for those of you who may not be familiar, is one of the premier providers for systems here in Antigua and Barbuda. So they are located on Factory Road, just next to the Rotary Building. This is just across from where the High Court is, or the Department of Environment is. So there, they have access to consoles, games.
Remember, I have to environment to know.
Say again? So you have access to them. Select Start Gaming. Alex is there, and he will be able to provide you with any support that you need in terms of consoles or games. Select Start Gaming. Can you confirm the scavenger hunt that will begin on Monday is still available? I am unable to locate it. Sabrina, do you have any feedback on the scavenger hunt for Saturday?
Yes, I put the link in the chat. It's on Instagram. It's on our U.S. Embassy Barbados Instagram. So you can still enter. The deadline is Saturday at midnight, or around 11:59. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that answers your question, Jasmine. Would there be competitions for these games or consoles gear? That's something we're actually looking at, Nathan. And so if you are going to be a part of the initial pilot group that's going to be leading the charge in terms of establishing what the esports community is going to look like for us here in Antigua and Barbuda, you can sign up to become maybe the director of business and partnerships. And we can probably look at getting some sponsorship for sponsoring some games and gears and consoles for when we have these competitions. So again, like I said, I want you to understand and keep something in mind that this esports gaming club, it's not just something that is being done for you. You need to take ownership of it. It is going to be all about you. You can help mold this to be what you want it to be. And we're here to provide support to you to ensure that all the students that are here, that you have access to the best possible opportunities to grow personally and professionally. So, Jaira, you made the question about your PS4. Again, those are our friends at Select Start Gaming. Alex, he will definitely be able to take care of any of your challenges that you have over there. His number is, I'm just going to give you the business number. Oh, yes. You just give a photo for Select Start Gaming so everybody can know where you are, what is it that you do. Alex, you there? So Select Start is Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The parking lot just next to the Marshall & Co. building. Again, that's just next to the Rotary Club. And if you need to get to them, it's 732-5191. I'll put it in the chat. And you can find them also on social media at Select Start ANU. So I'll repeat the information. It's in the chat. So it's Select Start. It is 732-5191. You can find them on social media at Select Start ANU. And located next into Marshall & Co. on the Factory Road. If you have questions about getting your hands on any consoles, or if you need support in your game systems, our friends at Select Start Gaming are there to provide support to ensure that you can game on and have fun outside of Esports Gaming Club. I think I've covered all the chats and questions for anyone. Is there anything that I may have missed? If not, I want to just reiterate and thank everybody once again for coming out tonight. Am I a gamer, Armani? Absolutely. I've been gaming since I got my first Sega when I was about 12. I never looked back. Then I jumped over to N64, did GoldenEye, and I've been gaming ever since. It's a great pastime, and it's a lot of fun. The things that we're hoping to actually get done is actually to potentially something I would love to see happening is actually maybe, who knows, develop a game right here in Antigua and Barbuda that we can develop through coding and design. There's a great opportunity that are in high demand. I think Kevin would have shared the careers that are currently now being looked for on the market. The esports industry is $1 billion industry that is providing a lot of jobs and opportunities for young people, whether you want to prepare, you want to be a coach, a content developer, influencer, or even as we started off this call, we talked about some of the traditional roles. There may be persons, you may not be a gamer, but we do need persons to help organize, people to be able to manage the tournaments, to be able to help and, ensure that the ecosystem itself is thriving. And so you don't have to be a gamer to be a part of esports. You can actually learn a lot of other skills out of that. And this is one of the reasons why, again, we want to try to get people involved in it. So I will reiterate again, Esports Club, is our official launch. I am super excited. Big shout out to the American Corner, which is supported by the U.S. State Department. I got to give big props to the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown. Sabrina and Larry, thank you so much for supporting us and I love Antigua and Barbuda to be able to wave our flag high, especially if we're leading the charge and that kind of stuff. So I'm really happy to be able to boast off to some of my neighboring friends in the other islands that, hey, we got an esports club coming up in Antigua. And so I'm going to make them a little bit jealous. But the American Corner itself is our home base. And so if you have not had a chance to go take a look at the American Corner, please feel free to visit Miss Mannix and the team, Jillian, Nikki, and everyone at the American Corner. There's a wealth of opportunity about the United States there, and also many of the programs that are available for young people and just about every age group. They do a ton of programs every single year, reading programs, stuff like that. And basically, we are looking to kick off esports gaming for 17-year-olds here in Antigua and Barbuda. If you haven't told your friends, please do so. Encourage them to sign up. Go to esports.org, get yourself registered, and you'll have an opportunity to be exposed to team education, team-based learning. Basically, the itself is geared for teaching a curriculum that's created by the North American Scholastic Esports Federation, NASEF. Kevin was on the call here. It's going to be focused on STEAM education, and then we're also going to be using the opportunity to teach life skills, where we're going to be teaching you quality skills like leadership, interpersonal communication, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. We want to engage as many young people as possible. We want to teach you about emerging technologies and encouraging you to possibly consider pursuing higher education in the U.S. through the Education in USA Advisory Services. So please check out the Education USA activities that happen this weekend, including the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown social media page, and check out the opportunity, compete. I think there's some awesome prizes. I think I saw a map here of programs. And of course, we want to empower you. We want you to be able to have fun. We're going to host tournaments among students, build competitive skills, teach you how to work as a team, teach you how to, raise, build an ecosystem that you can be very proud of here for gaming. And so we got to say a big shout out to our friends at Island Academy once again. Island Academy is going to be hosting our STEAM Learning Center. And so if you're interested in learning anything regarding STEAM, including through esports, cybersecurity, Adam is on the call here. We have robotics as well with DadleyBots, and there's going to be much more activities coming on stream. Go to silicondadley.com and sign up for any one of the programs itself. And fun. And last but not least, I want to definitely shout out to Select Start Gaming and, of course, the government of Antigua and Barbuda for supporting this initiative. And, of course, Silicon Dadley, our local tech association, and the other trainers that are going to be coming through to help all the young people in terms of education. I see a few more questions in the chat. So Miss Maddox is extending an invitation for everyone, of course. And a big shout out to the team at the American Corner. I can tell you, listen, the American Corner has been so much fun. It's crazy. So please go and visit them at the National Public Library. Johnny, yes, programming is going to be something that we're going to be teaching, and hopefully you'll be able to engage in games. Jean-Claude asked the question, yes, probably, because it seems to be the easier way to connect with young people. A lot of young people don't like to check emails for some weird reason. But emails will be our official form of communication, and the WhatsApp group will just be probably one of the ways that we'll be able to stay closer connected with you and your parents so that they know exactly what's happening. Glad is like checking emails is tasking. Wow. Well, this is part of going to be adulting, Jean-Claude. So yeah, it's best to start doing it now. Kevin says, "Once we're talking." All right. Any other questions? Any parents? Any questions? Any concerns that you have? Anything else from the students? I'm excited. I can't wait to meet up with you guys next week, Wednesday. We're going to have fun, and I just want to encourage each and every one of you to share the opportunity with your friends. And of course, please make sure that if you're really interested in taking on a role in the club, make sure you highlight it, because I noticed that a lot of the persons who signed up were just wanting to be just part of the club and not necessarily taking active roles. There's still a lot of opportunities available to take up some leadership roles in the club. Johnny asked the question, online meeting next week. Yes, so next week, Wednesday. After today's call, we will share contact details for the next meeting, and we'll go through orientation for many of the questions that you would have submitted during your registration process. And that's selecting the leading team that's going to lead the way for esports in Antigua and Barbuda. All right. Any other questions from anyone? Travel arrangements in terms of what, Armani? I'm not sure of your question. Is this regarding, you want to unmute and ask that question, Armani, or you want to make some clarity? If you're referring to, let's say, ground transportation whenever we have, let's say, tournaments, since our STEAM lab is going to be at Island Academy, the answer is yes. The U.S. Embassy has put together part of the budget that is being invested in the program to ensure that we can provide transportation for students around the island to ensure that you can engage in the club. Like I said, a lot of resources has been planned and put behind to ensure that this program is a success. And to Danielle Attel's question, is there a WhatsApp group? There's not one currently, Danielle, but after we go to presentation next week, we will decide on logistics for that. And because I want to ensure that, from my experience working, especially with robotics, with students and parents, we have to ensure that both parties are kept engaged so that the messaging is always consistent. So we will have that conversation and establish a WhatsApp group. But presently, there is not one. Is asking about international travel arrangements. Well, one of the things that we're hoping to be able to get off the ground, Amani, is the opportunity to maybe bring some professional players here to Antigua and Barbuda first. And then if we decide to get into competition and, we be able to build a competitive team to help Antigua and Barbuda compete, I can't say why not. So who knows? Let's see how it goes. Kevin says NASEF is interested in traveling too. So hopefully we have you here in Antigua and Barbuda to meet up with all the students face to face and share some of that awesome knowledge that you have in terms of STEAM learning and STEAM learning and esports gaming. All right. Any other questions before we wrap? If there's none, I want to say thank you once again for being a part of this activity. Puerto Rico is also rising, so you have a competitor. Don't worry. We'll let them know exactly where they need to stand inside the ranking. Don't worry. We'll sort them out, definitely. I'm a very competitive person, so as Larry mentioned earlier, I tend to be very active in terms of whatnot, and I want to ensure that Antigua and Barbuda flies our flag high when it comes to esports gaming. So yeah, we will smoke them. Don't worry. So if there's nothing else, I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. I will share an email to all of you in terms of the opportunity that's going to be coming up. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get into tournament and start kicking some butt. And so, yeah, once again for coming out. And I want to say have a great evening. Anything else before we close? You there, Sabrina? No? She may have stepped away.
Oh, nothing else. Sorry.
That's okay. Just want to say once again, check out Education USA. On the weekend, there's an awesome scavenger hunt. There are great prizes that are coming up. So check out the U.S. Embassy Bridgetown social media page. And of course, check out Silicon Valley so you can see all the opportunities that are going to be available, such as cybersecurity, robotics, and esports gaming at the Island Academy STEAM Learning Center with Silicon Valley. All right. Have a good night, everyone.